Okay, so as in the last video, we have discussed about the energy terms which are involved in the ionic bond, right? We discussed about ionization energy, electron affinity, lattice energy. But in today's video, we're gonna dive deep dive into lattice energy and the heat of formation, right? Heat of formation is very important term in this entire chapter. So and finding the heat of formation is not very easy process, or you can say that is easy, but finding lattice energy is not easy at all. For that we need to understand the bond Haber cycle first, right? So bond Haber cycle. So basically what is our today's video about? It is all about lattice energy. So initially we will be looking into the basic information or basic introduction to the lattice energy, then we'll gonna deep dive in it. Okay, so now what is lattice energy? Lattice energy is basically energy which is produced when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed by using gaseous ions. Let me write this definition here. Energy released when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from the gaseous ions. Gaseous ions. Remember this term, gaseous ions. Right? So this is energy which is released when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from its gaseous ions. For example, we have Na plus in the gaseous form plus chlorine negative in the gaseous form react together and they form NaCl. 1 mole of NaCl in the solid form. And now see, the energy which will be released in this process would be lattice energy. So here lattice energy would be released as well. Lattice energy. Right? So now what is lattice energy? Lattice energy is the energy which is released when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from its gaseous ions. Right? So lattice energy is nothing but it is energy which is produced when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from its gaseous ions, as we have seen the example as well. Sodium plus reacts with chlorine negative and they form NaCl. With that, the energy which is released in this process is lattice energy because 1 mole of ionic compound is formed. Right? Now what is difference between heat of formation and lattice energy? Right? Now let me tell you what is heat of formation. If Na in its actual state, we know that Na is the metal and it exists in solid state, right? Plus chlorine, which is a gas and exists in gaseous state. Now they both react together and here we have compound is formed. Now in this process the energy which will be released would be heat of formation. Heat of formation. Why heat of formation? Since see, now we have not taken gaseous ions, now we have taken elements or the reactants in their stable state. So sodium is found stable in the solid state, that's why we have taken solid state of sodium. Plus chlorine is found stable in the gaseous state. That's why we have taken gaseous state of the chlorine, and when they both react together in their actual states, then the compound is produced, and the heat which is produced within that compound is what we know called the heat of formation. If the both reactants, initially we need to convert them in the gaseous state, and then those gaseous ions react together, 1 mole of ionic compound is produced, and with that the energy which is produced with them is what we call the lattice energy. Now how to find the lattice energy? For that we need to understand Born-Haber cycle, right? They're very important. Born-Haber process, or you can say cycle or process, right? So in the next video we're going to discuss about Born-Haber cycle.